This time, it'll all work out. It has to. I had all the confidence in the world when we were together. And now that I'm alone in the dark, in the absolute silence of the night, I'm starting to get anxious again. Starting to feel like something bad is going to happen. Like I'm going to mess something up again. We took a big step today, and I know I have to keep it together to keep thinking positive.
Frank?
The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand?
James, you don't mind? James? Doc, can you jump in?
Thus saith the Lord of Hosts, the woman hath committed 3 crimes. She has lied, she has stolen, and she has betrayed her fellow man.
It's all right. It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of, Giselle. Whatever happens, you have to hold fast to your faith in the goodness of others. You have no reason to tremble. Yes, come in. That's odd. I don't think I was hearing things. There's no one there. What was that about? Oh? A glass. It's wine, and it's so warm. I guess he heated it on the fire for me? Oh, you. Could have at least said hi. I have a feeling this is going to work out.
The light shining in through the windows is swallowed whole by the darkness, as if this era time together never actually existed. We saw it though. Together we watched the light crack open the darkness. I'm begging you, please, remember. Please find yourself. Please, Giselle, don't let the things you felt, the warmth that fell over us, remain lost to you.
I might have seen it. Seen that most beautiful light.
Giselle.
But are these truly my memories? Could they not be someone else's tale? Like all the others we've seen so far. She was so bright and energetic, and I'm neither of those. Besides, the maid need not a tale of her own.
This is not a story. These are memories. Mine and your memories. No one else's. It's all very much real. So were the kinder, happier days that came next.
Kinder, happier days. Those words create a strange warmness within my chest. But at the same time, they make me indescribably anxious. Is there really happiness to be found down that road?
If our past doesn't lead to happiness, it couldn't be worse than where we are now. Come, Giselle. To spring that made us more than just strangers.
Master? Come on, get up. Up with you. Master!
What?
See, what did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light.
Morning?
Wait a second. Don't you hide under your bedspread? Get out of there!
I'm fine with my room staying dark. What are you even doing in here?
Oh, but Master, you agreed that I could open the windows.
I did, yes.
Don't worry, I've put curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best parts of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, swaying of the trees, rustling of leaves. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now?
Kind of. But you wouldn't be you if you weren't. So for now, I won't get on you about it. Also, I don't know your real intentions. No, never mind.
I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were.
What did you think of me?
Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel. Heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too.
It's not a single good trait in that list.
Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope that you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time, then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? When should we begin? Oh, I know. We can get this place cleaned up.
You want clean?
Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place.
My vision was still slightly unfocused, having not completely escaped from Morpheus' embrace. I could see well enough to catch her smiling brightly. It was the first time I got a good look at her in the light. I could see facial features had missed during yesterday's commotion. Those glittering eyes. I even trace the tribulations she had endured tated on pure jade eyes. She's surprisingly good looking. I'm clearly not myself right now.
Is something the matter, Master? I know. You're still half asleep, aren't you? I guess I'm just gonna have to throw my best bucket of water on you.
What is the best bucket of water? I'm awake! I'm awake!
Is there something on my face, then?
It's far too amusing a sight to wake up to.
Amusing? Oh, just get out of bed already.
What a noisy morning.
I got my first decent look at Michelle's face under the light that morning. Watching him stifle a yawn as he crawled out of bed. All the little details I hadn't been able to pick up on in the darkness. His expressions, mannerisms, the way he looked at me. I could see facial features that I had missed during yesterday's commotion. All those vivid, all-consuming red eyes. I was probably, no, almost certainly, making a really dumb face at him. Is it just me, or is he kind of, no, very pretty? How could I not have noticed until now? Oh, jeez. Wow, I can't look him in the eyes. Yes? What can I do for you?
Is there something on my face?
What? No,
Huh?
Hair monster!
Excuse me?
No, your hair, it's really long. Yes, that's it. It's way too long.
Oh, is that any way for a servant to speak to her master? I'm just kidding. I don't have any interest in holding your status against you anymore.
I see. Really hard to tell if he's joking or not.
So, about that cleaning. May I wash my face first?
What? You're going to help?
As I just said, I'm not going to act like I'm your superior to you anymore. What are you snickering about?
I can't help it. I'm happy.
My hair really does bother you. You can cut it.
Huh? I can cut it. Oh, of course. I'll give you the best haircut you've ever had. Oh, but I should warn you, you'll want to stay perfectly still. I'm a monster with a pair of scissors. My sister always said that we were as likely to lose an ear as we were hair whenever I cut it.
You stay away from me! I was shocked at how much more comfortable I felt around her only one day, following our opening up to each other. Maybe it was just as normal, I simply never felt it before. I didn't know. That would take years of work to get close enough to someone to be able to have a conversation without picking apart every little detail. But here it was, a day later, already there. Is that how it usually worked? Did people normally get close and draw apart so freely? I didn't find it unpleasant to have someone else around. It was a strange feeling. All that friction had dissipated in an instant. It was like we had known each other for years. Though not entirely willingly, we began sharing meals, something I had always done by myself.
Hey, I see you shoving aside that parsnip. You need to eat everything.
You have any idea why there was so much rotten parsnip in the cellar? I don't care for it.
You could at least pretend to be ashamed. Yeesh, you're not a kid. Don't be so picky. Not good for you.
Hasn't caused any problems thus far.
It will soon enough. I can't believe you. We have limited supplies and you won't eat your vegetables? Oh, question. I've got an idea.
Go on.
Is the list of supplies sent by your family set in stone?
Meaning,
I was just wondering if it was possible to make requests. If I could, I would just go out on a shopping trip.
perish the thought. The only village around here is the one you came from.
Right. Say, are you saying that out of concern for...
Who would ever be concerned about you? I just want to be able to sleep well at night. I'm not interested in throwing more servants to the lions.
You know, you're a whole lot simpler of a person than I first thought.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing.
Back to your question about delivery. Yes, you can. I made a request recently, but you can write what you want on a sheet of parchment. Or if we don't have any, something similar. Put in a box and leave it outside. Since your request is not completely unreasonable, it should arrive with the next package. Why? Is there something you need?
Yeah, I was hoping to increase our selection of vegetables. And while I'm at it, if possible... Actually, that's a secret.
A secret?
It's nothing too exciting. I'll tell you when the time is right. My relationship with Michel gradually transitioned from master and servant to something closer to friends. He was still my master, but he allowed me almost complete freedom. And he didn't order me around either. He even gave me a hand with my work. Though he was still not very talkative and oftentimes hard to read, he at least seemed to be making an effort to close the gap. He would, on occasion, tell me about himself, though not in much detail, and any time his family came up, he grimaced uncomfortably. Apparently, his father had wanted him dead. His brothers, though, had worked to create a scenario in which he could live, faking his death and sending him to this remote mansion. I had never encountered Michel's brothers while at his family's estate. But assuming he was right, and it was one of them who had given me that letter, they were likely our only allies at that house.
I don't know what he's thinking. It's been 10 years.
Michel had muttered. To which I had replied, have faith. It was better to believe in something, even if it felt silly and unreasonable, than to lose faith in everything. My being able to find renewed belief in the kindness of people was what had allowed me to start smiling again, after all. Because I was able to have that faith, I was able to enjoy life once more. It wasn't an exciting or thrilling life. It was a humble, simple one with just the two of us. But I wouldn't trade that light for anything. Some people might think it dull or dreary, but it was ours. Master, I really, truly appreciate that you want to help with the cooking. I do, honestly, but... This is apocalyptic. This is mutinous. This is an affront to gastronomy. This is unearthly disgusting.
Get me better ingredients.
What?
I'm not a bad cook. These are simply bad ingredients. If they were better, it would taste just fine boiled. It's not as bad as you claim, besides.
You make a mockery of the culinary arts.
I've been eating this for years. I don't see the problem.
I've heard quite enough, Master. It sounds like I'm going to need to put your taste buds through some intense rehabilitation. I have to teach him what real food tastes like. Otherwise, he won't be able to appreciate it if I make him something really good. Hold the chair steady for me, will you? I'm going to wipe down the top shelf.
I can handle it. I'm tall enough to reach without standing on a chair.
It's not as simple as just running a rag over it. I've got practice, so let me take care of it, alright? That's a lot more dust than I expected. I probably should have used something to cover my mouth. You're going to want to hold your breath for this, Master. Alright, here goes.
It's quite practiced. Is there any need for me to be holding the chair?
Oh!
What? Whoa!
Hold the chair! Ow. I'm sorry, I didn't think there would be that much dust. Thank you for holding the chair. Master? Your hand is...
What?
Your hand is, it's on my chest.
It was an accident.
Right, it was. It's fine, really. It was my fault anyway. It's completely, totally fine.
I can't even look her in the eyes. Could this be any more painfully awkward?
So don't worry about it, Master. Honestly, I should be apologizing for subjecting you to that.
That's easier said than done. I had to do something about this stifling awkwardness. For one, it was only for a moment. I didn't even realize what it was. But that's not the issue. I need some clever way to brush all of this aside. Something woody that tells her I'm not bothered at all. I'm not concerned. In fact, I see no reason to be concerned at all. Felt like I was squeezing a beast's rat. Hardly even perceived as a breast.
An obese rat. An obese rat.
What?
How utterly insensitive can you be? I'm gonna rip every last hair off your head.
Leave my hair out of this!
Say, Master. What did you do all this time, all by yourself?
That's an exceedingly vague question.
Say when you were really, really stupidly bored out of your mind, what did you do to keep yourself occupied?
Meditate?
Just how many times have you reached enlightenment?
I sometimes played chess too.
Chess. Wait, by yourself?
Yes, imagine how an opponent might react to my moves. Play the other side that way.
That's kind of depressing to think about. How about this, Master? Play a game against me.
Do you know the rules?
You better do. I do come from a family of merchants, so I keep up with trends and know all sorts of games.
Oh ho!
Prepare to meet your maker.
So, who am I supposed to prepare to meet again?
Come on, have a little mercy. You trounced me. One more time. I wasn't at the top of my game.
Am I going to meet this maker?
What? How? When did you put me in a checkmate? One more. Hold on, that's not fair. Take it back. My king. Please stop.
Amateur.
Can't you just go a little bit easy?
You never asked me to go easy.
This isn't a game. This is slaughter. This is a one-sided massacre.
About this maker.
I'm looking right at him.
It was actually kind of fun.
No, it wasn't. It was miserable. Next time we're playing something fair.
Such as?
Let's see. Oh, I know. Arm wrestling.
Huh? Arm wrestling?
Yeah. You sit across from each other, put your elbow on the table, grab hands, and see who can pin the other down.
Who would ever willingly participate in such a primitive competition?
Not interested then? Or are you afraid you might lose?
Alright then. Can imagine losing to a woman.
Okay, elbow on the table. Start on my count. Ready? Go!
What?
Victory!
With each passing day, it grew less and less unusual having Giselle was at my side. I get more freely engaging in silliness, speaking my mind and showing emotion. I could say her name and Giselle would turn around and smile at me. An unimaginable sight not long ago. For 10 years. For 10 years I had lived alone. Solitude had been my normal. But that was very rapidly changing at her hands. We were continually getting closer, yes, but not in a romantic sense. If I had to describe it, I would say good friends was probably the most apt. Time continued to press on, our relationship remaining relatively stable. Eventually summer came, bringing with it the longest period of sunlight I had ever experienced in many years. Then the leaves began falling from trees. Before long, the world grew cold and dreary. That winter, the fireplace was never without a crackling blaze in its belly. The boiled wine we drank was undoubtedly middling and cheap. Where she sat with a smile,
I've never had wine this good before.
though I didn't say anything, I felt the same way. Sun set much earlier, and having stopped using candles, found ourselves habitually gathering around that fireplace when it grew dark.
Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes it feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master? I bet that's why Troubadours performs at pubs, so they can be near the fire.
Or because there's ale. Drunkenness makes even bad singing and storytelling pleasant to the ears.
Oh, you're such a cynic. That's okay. Say,
Yes?
do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library?
Please don't tell me you're bringing the beast rat incident back up.
No, not that. Before that. Before we could actually talk to each other. I believe I suggested we read something together if you ever felt the inclination.
You might have. Can't say I remember.
Are you sure about that? You turned down my proposal saying I was wasting my time. But look, it actually happened. Even if you don't remember, I'm sure you never thought this moment would come. I was, for the most part, focused on making sure things didn't get any worse between us. But to be honest, I didn't expect there would ever actually come a time when we could sit shoulder to shoulder and read a book. You never know how these things might pan out.
I actually do remember. Remember how I tried to push her away, how much I mistrusted her. I was nothing but hostile towards her. People change. Perhaps, if it can, so can the future. Maybe I can hope that, like our friendship, there's a chance the future might take a turn for the better.
Is something the matter?
I don't much care for hypotheticals, but if by some chance I were someday to be able to return to that house, should that time come, this house is home to our nightmares. If it didn't happen to me after my father was gone, I wouldn't erase what he had done to her there. He acts like nothing's wrong, though. I don't know. Were wounds healed, or do they still remain?
Should that time come?
Should that time come, if that day comes, I will do what I can to ensure that you have a comfortable life in the city. Though I will not be able to inherit the estate, I can work something out.
I see. Thank you. Very much.
But you'll be comfortable doing so. I'll be pleased if you were to join me. I mean as a servant.
As a servant.
Yes, a servant. We're, short on hands.
I see. A servant.
Do I really need to repeat myself? Yes, as a servant.
All right, sure. I think I will. I would like to accompany you, Master. How exciting. I'm sure a wonderful future awaits us.
I pray so.
Now, back to the story. I believe we had just gotten to the point where the knight set out to defeat the monster and save the princess. I bet he was a big, buff, muscular knight.
Let's not talk about how muscular he was. She let out a generous laugh. I thought I smelled something sweet in her breath. Was it her scent? Or perhaps just my imagination? And no way of knowing. I sat so close, even a slightest shift seemed sufficient to allow me to hear the sound of her heartbeat, causing mine to accelerate. Curiosity flooded my mind. What might she be thinking right now? What did she think about me? Was I trying to banish them? I frustratingly failed. Just getting caught up in the moment. I just briefly lost my way. But I tried to convince myself otherwise. It's all in vain. Why had my pulse gotten so rapid? How's my skin gotten so flushed? When? How? Why was this happening to me? I'd already learned my lesson. About having feelings for someone else. Before long, winter retreated and our second spring came to take its place. A full year had passed since we had resumed living together. I think it was my imagination that this year felt much warmer and then last. Spring seemed to arrive a bit earlier than previous years. One night, when the breeze carried on and it had a pleasant residual warmth, Giselle escorted me out to the garden.
Come on, Master. Hurry up.
It's the middle of the night. What's so important?
I just found it myself. And I couldn't wait until morning.
Huh?
A rose. It blossomed.
A rose? Giselle had, over the past year, cleaned up the nests of weeds that had been strangling the garden. Off to the side of a small plot of turned soil, swaying in the wind beneath the moonlight, was a single red rose. When did you...
Last year, I requested flower seeds. But I just couldn't get them to grow, and I was starting to think they never would. But look, it's only one, but it did.
I had no idea.
Of course you didn't. I didn't tell you.
Why would you keep it from me?
I wanted to make it a gift for you, Master.
What? Why?
Roses make wonderful gifts, supposedly.
No, that's not what I meant. Why me? I haven't given you anything.
Consider it a symbol of my hope that we'll still be this close another year from now. If we are, then this is yours.
I don't follow her reasoning. I don't follow it at all, but... Beside the deep red rose almost melting into the dark night was perhaps the most wondrous thing I had ever seen in my life. I never understood why some people found flowers so enchanting. They were always just plants to me. But that one, on that night, was undeniably beautiful, majestic. Like a young child seeing a flower for the very first time, my hand automatically reached out for it. Not knowing the proper way to appreciate flowers, I didn't gently caress its petals or take in its fragrance. I snapped its stem.
Oh, you picked it? Are you going to bring it back to your room?
When I finally processed her question, that was when I realized I probably should have left it to grow in the garden. From the base of its stem, where I plucked it, a droplet succumbed to gravity and fell to the earth. With that came a delayed realization that I had ended the plant's life. I was overpowered by childish possessiveness. This stunning flower is mine. Moonlight trickled down from the heavens, giving a gentle bluish tint to my hands, and a smile on her face.
You're going to need a vase then. Give me just a minute.
For the briefest moment, the moonlight must have played a trick on my mind.
Huh? Master?
What on earth am I doing? A look of bewilderment filled Giselle's face, just inches from mine, which hammered into reality what I'd just done. I thought it just crossed my mind that perhaps her black hair might prove a good backdrop for the rose, but it was supposed to remain a simple fancy.
What was that about?
An excuse. I need a good excuse. A drawing.
A drawing?
Right. I'd like to preserve it on a canvas.
What? What?
I mean, that a rose on its own doesn't make a very compelling picture, so I would like to include you as an accessory.
Wait, you want to draw me too?
Merely as a background element. You're slightly more interesting than a vase. That's all.
I've never seen you draw anything before.
I just never got the urge.
You know how?
Many years ago, my brother taught me.
I don't think I can handle being a model. I've never had a drawing done of me before. You'd probably be better off with just the rose.
You gave it to me, didn't you? It means I'm free to do with it as I please.
I did.
I didn't mean to sound so rude. I had no real interest in drawing the rose. I couldn't just take it back either. Giselle has shrunk back quite visibly. I can bring myself to look her in the eyes. So I fled to the cellar in search of supplies to escape the oppressive awkwardness. The far wall, I found a rectangular panel of wood and several sticks of charcoal. My materials were obviously nothing compared to what a court artist might use. But I was clearly not going to be able to do their portrait any kind of justice. God, what am I doing? I bury my head in the sand. Giselle was waiting for me in the stained glass chamber. Since she was still just as uncomfortable as when I had left her. She gave me a fleeting glance before averting her gaze again. If only she would laugh or make a scene like usual, make things so much easier. Why did she have to choose now to start acting meek?
What should I be doing?
Stay perfectly still, please.
Do you need me to pose or anything?
No, just get comfortable. Look away.
Why?
It's hard to work when you're watching me. What?
I feel like I have to sneeze.
Hold it in, please. What now?
Can I see it?
I've barely drawn anything yet. So our eyes didn't meet. I was able to observe her. Her gaze was quite clearly not focused on the rose. But Giselle? At first I regretted my in-the-moment proposition, but I was beginning to think it's been such a bad idea. Without some sort of pretext, I'd never been able to examine her so intently. I didn't have that kind of courage. This isn't like me. But what was like me? Did I prefer being a sharp-tongued, unapproachable recluse? Was that what I wanted to strive for? Giselle was like a gale. A mere presence dispersed the gloomy cloud that always hovered around me. Thinking about it, it's practically a miracle that we ever ended up so comfortable around each other. She's still here right now. Light from the moon spilled through the stained glass window, taking on a multitude of pale tones before falling on her white skin and jade eyes. I stopped sketching at some point.
What in the world was going on? One of my roses had finally bloomed, which I thought would put a smile on Michel's face. But rather than improve his mood, it had made him go all strange. It had made him say he wanted to draw something. I had never seen Michel draw anything before. Ugh, I can't sit still. I tried to sneak peeks of him every once in a while, but any time our eyes met, he gave me a stern, look that way stare. So I ended up spending a whole lot of time looking at the archangel in the stained glass window. What could he be thinking? Could this be thanks for the rose? I'm pretty sure he's not the type who would consider a drawing an expression of gratitude, though. If I'm worried about that, it'll turn my whole world upside down. Maybe he wanted to draw me? No, not possible. That would turn the world upside down even faster. He couldn't. We're close, to be sure, but we're not that kind of close. It makes it sound like Michel's attracted to me. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. He compares me to an obese rat and calls me an amateur at chess, laughing while he crushes me. So that's not what this is. Is it? Huh? Oh, yes?
If it's too much trouble, you're free to leave. This might, well, take a very long time to complete.
Oh, no trouble.
You had a very stern look on your face, is all.
I was doing that bad a job at hiding it?
I don't want to force you to do anything you don't want. It's foolish of me to ask of you. I'm sorry.
Honestly, it's no trouble. I mean it. You just took me by surprise, that's all.
Not even that great of an artist to begin with. That's not a talent I was blessed with. If I'm being honest with myself, I can't imagine anyone would be pleased to have bad art drawn of them.
What? What are you getting so negative about? I wasn't the only one making a face. His head was turned slightly downward, forlorn shimmer in his eyes. I had never seen him make that face before. He resembled a child who had just been scorned by his mother. I wasn't at all angry or displeased with him. I was just fine, honestly. I had to get that through to him. I am pleased. Doesn't matter how it turns out, you drew it for me, Master. Whether it's good or bad is irrelevant. But the moonlight shining through the stained glass was so enchanting. I lost myself in it. I'd be happy with anything drawn for me by the man I love. For an instant, time froze. By the time I'd realized what I'd said, my mind had gone blank, and I couldn't form a coherent thought. I mean, like family. You're like an older brother to me. I meant love, like love for a brother. Hey, hey, say something, Master. Give me your usual exasperated sigh. Come on now. Go on, give me your best good grief, and then hurl me out the window. Oh, come on. Please? Show me some disappointment? Master?
Uh, uh,
when the wood panel he was using as a canvas and the charcoal in his hand crashed to the hard chapel floor, the clattering was so loud, I jumped. I didn't have the presence of mind to wonder why he had knocked over the canvas, or why his hands appeared to be shaking. Let me help you with that. I stepped towards him, and when I did,
The
the
moonlight
moonlight
shining
shining
down
down
upon us
upon us
intensified.
and our gazes
Of jade and
of
ruby
jade and ruby
intertwined.
intertwined.
Estoy contando os dias que nós
There was a visible rosiness in his ethereal, pale cheeks. Master? Flickers of panic darted beneath the surface of his normally stony red eyes. They were trembling as he looked over me. I was at a loss for words. We must have been under the moon's spell. We weren't thinking. We stood alone in a frozen world robbed of all rational thought. Riding the moonlight's current, his hands fell against my cheek. It was much colder than I had expected, but it felt pleasant upon my flushed skin. As we drew closer, I could feel the warmth emanating from his body, and I'm sure he could feel mine. The beating of my heart, too. His breathing stopped for a moment, then he gulped. He brought his head in. I closed my eyes and... and then shoved him away with all my strength. Michel rolled back, knocked his head on the side of a pew, and began groaning in pain, which is when I finally realized what I had done. What have you done, Giselle? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Uh, are you hurt?
I'm fine.
Sorry. You startled me. I really, truly didn't mean to knock you down.
You should go back to your room. I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you tonight.
What?
Get some rest. Good night.
He turned away, marching off into the corridor enshrouded in darkness. There was a heavy air of loneliness hanging over him, which gave him rise to phantom images of him actually disappearing into the darkness. I had caused that, but I hadn't realized until it was too late. It felt like someone was sitting on my chest. Why would I ever do that to him? Of course I'm going to hurt him reacting like that. Maybe I was hoping he would say it was just one of his jokes. Do I want it to be a joke? I had that option. I could pretend nothing ever happened, and tomorrow go back to the way things were before. But if I did that, there would almost certainly never be a second chance. You were okay with it. You wanted it, Giselle. Quit lying to yourself. You were the one who said you loved him. And that was no mistake. You wouldn't sit shoulder to shoulder and read a book with someone you didn't care for. You wouldn't enjoy eating supper with someone you didn't like. You wouldn't be able to live happily with someone you didn't love. You have to go after him. Find him and tell him the truth.
What am I doing, for God's sake? I'm not in my right mind. Something about me was off today. I couldn't control myself, saying things I didn't mean, doing things I didn't intend to. I never meant to do that. But at this point, I had no choice but to admit my feelings. I couldn't pretend I didn't know what they were anymore. How long had I felt this way? A week? A month? 6 months? Or maybe a full year? They already developed when we started anew? No, the when didn't matter. It didn't change the facts. I was still attracted to her, regardless of when it had begun. But she pushed me away, quite literally. I sighed at myself. Why should I be disappointed? She was nothing like me. I was reclusive and unsociable. She was the exact opposite. She was the kind of person who would confidently tell someone how she felt. She had done exactly that. That was like a brother. But I hadn't listened. As a matter of fact, could I have been any more presumptuous? I don't deserve to love anyone. It's better this way.
Master!
What? I told you go back to your room.
Master, I need you to listen to me, okay?
What?
About what just happened. That doesn't count. You can't count any of that.
Huh?
That I said I loved you and that I shoved you. They don't count.
Right. I was planning to forget that anyway. So don't worry.
No, that's not what I meant. What I'm saying is that it's not something I should have said on a whim just because the moonlight was kind of pretty tonight. It wasn't supposed to be so casual. The way I said it doesn't get across how much I actually really care about you. It should have been something with more impact, rather. Me looking you straight in your eyes, my heart jumping around like it's on fire. That's how I should have said it.
What are you...
I'm saying I want you to give me one more chance to do it right.
Giselle. Calm yourself.
I am calm.
In no sense of the word are you calm.
Fine then, I'm not calm. But I am clear-headed. I mean every last word. Listen. Listen very carefully. I love you. I love you so much I feel like my heart is going to explode.
What? Huh? You mean like family? Like a brother, right?
Romantic love! Romantic!
What?
I wasn't upset back there. No, I was elated.
What? My mind couldn't keep up with what it was hearing. Half out of breath where she stood, Giselle was frantically insisting that she loved me. Was I dreaming?
Master? How do you... I would like to hear how you feel about me. Assuming I interpreted that correctly, you were going in for a kiss back there? Right? Right? So I can take that as your answer?
Giselle looked up at me with bleary eyes. She had feelings for me. It was a miracle. I could hardly breathe. I felt like someone had stuck their hand in my chest and was squeezing my heart. I just had to say yes, and a smile was spread across her face. I could bring her joy, and all it would take was a single word. And no reason to say no. My happiness was standing right there, in front of me. What more could I ask for? All I had to do was reach out and claim it for myself. I tried to do exactly that in the chapel. I could do it again. I loved her. I was a twisted man cast out of the world, left with nothing. I had no way to make her happy. But still, Don't tell me you've forgotten what you are.
Tell me.
There's no moonlight to give me that nudge. Do not feel that way about you.
What?
I got confused for a moment. I apologize for the misunderstanding I seem to have caused. All the color drained from her, like a flower wilting before my eyes. A heavy sigh spilled from her lips. Her jade eyes swayed lifelessly back and forth. And I thought mere love could possibly have such weight, but she looked as though I had just told her she was to be executed.
I see. I'm sorry. I let it get to my head. I'm sorry for making such a racket. Really, God, what was I thinking? I got way ahead of myself there.
My fox energy hurt to watch. I heard her. And this was the result. You want to protect yourself, you meant hurting her. Look where that got you. Been better off just going in with it. Because when she learned the truth, she'll push you away anyway.
I'm sorry. I'll be going now. Sorry for barging in on you like that.
She made her way into the shadows towards the door. There, you did it. You preserved your peace. But the feeling she would never again turn back. Your mistake was ever getting close to anyone. What I had always wanted was right there in front of me. So close to obtaining it. You pushed her away. I actually did love her. She would never love the real you. No, she couldn't. Cristina.
You're disgusting. I can't believe you actually had the gall to fall for me.
Good night, Master.
She was leaving. I wanted her here and she was leaving. I simply had to acknowledge my feelings and she would come back. Was I really content to let her go? In my weakness, I mistreated her. I hurt her. I let her go and I was about to lose her. And though she said she loved me, I felt the same way. Wait! Please, don't go. Your voice is shaking like a scared child's. Are you hoping to tell her like that? She was different. She was probably, no, she absolutely was nothing like anyone in my past. She won't be any different. I decided we'd just try just one more time. To believe in myself, to believe in someone else. I lied. Giselle, from the bottom of my heart, you'll regret this. No, I won't. I sincerely love you. Fragrance of rose enveloped me. Her arms wrapped around my chest, both imbued with strength and shaking like mad, so the slightest touch might shatter them.
Why didn't you just say that in the first place?
She said in a quivering, sniveling voice just inches from my ear. I lacked sufficient control over my mind or body to return her embrace, to run my hands through her hair, or to do anything more than support her weight. I'm sorry.
Jerk. Bully. Brute. You don't get to play this one off as a joke.
I'm truly, sincerely sorry.
You've given me 2 different stories. Tell me, which one's the truth? Were you just confused, or do you actually love me? I want to hear you say it again.
Truth is, I love you.
Again!
I love you.
Without fumbling this time.
I love you. As I said several times now.
Not good enough. Again.
Have mercy, please. I'm about to die of humiliation.
Can I really believe you this time? You're not gonna say you were lying again?
No, I won't.
Then we both feel the same way about each other?
Shockingly enough,
What's there to be shocked about?
I didn't think there was anything likable about me.
You really have to do something about that pessimism.
I'll try.
I'm in heaven. I'm so happy I could cry.
You're all over me.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. When you first said no, everything went black. I wasn't sure what I would do anymore. I had lost all hope.
I really do feel bad about that.
You had a change of heart. Now you're willing to have me.
Yes,
And everything I bring with me.
that was the idea.
Absolutely everything, right?
Pushing that point rather hard.
I have a request.
Huh?
It's something I don't think I could ask you at any time but now, while we're in this moment.
Would do anything, so long it is within my ability. Tell me, what is it?
Will you look at my naked body?
What?
More specifically, my scars? You are gonna have to see them eventually. In which case, I would like that to be now.
A year ago, I refused to look at her scars. I've been certain I wouldn't be able to accept what they represented. The abuse my father subjected her to. If possible, would have preferred never having faced that. But I, more than anyone, needed to know. It was my responsibility. I had to accept reality, not grimace or avert my eyes, but to face up to what had been done to her. Okay. I couldn't bring myself to look at her as she hesitantly disrobed. The sound of her clothes rustling made me feel as though I was doing something incredibly improper. I was supposed to try to feign calm. So tense my joints were practically creaking, my heart felt like it was being stepped on. I feel like I'm made of stone.
I'm ready. You can turn around.
Alright. I'll count to 10. She's laughing at me.
I feel a whole lot better seeing you so nervous.
I'm turning around.
Okay.
My head was tilted down just enough to keep me from making out her expression, but she couldn't hide the pink flush spreading across her cheeks. It contrasted well against her white, but not excessively pale skin, instead of her jet black hair.
Sorry, it's not anything nicer to look at.
In what way was this not a pleasant sight? Never been more entranced by anything in my entire life. She was stunning. I had no measure of comparison, but I was certain the same sight of any other woman in the world would have had the same effect on me. I said as much with confidence despite having never seen another woman nude. Hypnotized, I couldn't take my eyes off the gentle curves of her body. Were I more socially inclined, perhaps I could have told her she was pretty, which perhaps would have brought a sheepish smile to her face. Though I wanted to, my throat was dry as dust. All I could manage to produce were incoherent rasps.
Please say something. I'm hideous, aren't I? I'm unclean.
You're not hideous.
You mean it?
I mean it. Why would you think so?
Because
You're not unclean. Not the slightest.
You mean it?
I do.
Even seeing this?
Giselle's eyes slid downward, trace of fear lurking just beneath the surface. Following her lead, I dropped my gaze to her lower body. And there, I saw her scars. Swollen, red and black gashes did not heal after more than a year, defiled her white flesh. As she described for me, the lines were arranged to form letters carved into her skin. So that's why she said I would have seen them eventually. Instincts told me these were wounds she would carry for the rest of her life. I felt nauseous, heartbroken, infuriated. At the fact that the person who had done this was out of my reach. At the fact I could do nothing for her. It went through my father's mind when he looked at these. What did he gain from giving her these wounds? Why do you have to do this to her? Why my father of all people? Giselle was the one with the scars. Giselle was the one in pain. I felt like something shoved a handful of needles into my chest. Dozens of thick metal stakes piercing the walls of my heart, blood streaming through me like a river. I didn't force myself to face it. I was liable to run. What's the right thing to say? What was I supposed to tell her? So as I thought, I couldn't come with an answer. All that came up was intense frustration. It killed me that I couldn't take these scars from her. I couldn't give my father a piece of my mind. You're in no way hideous, no matter what marks are left in your body. It took all I had to form that single sentence.
Thank goodness. I'm so glad to hear that. When I was down in that village, they said it didn't matter what they did to me because I was already dirty. It made me think I'd reached the point where I was so tame. Anyone could see it. I'm sorry.
Why should you apologize?
You were frowning really intensely. I thought I might have made you mad.
No, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at my father, the villagers, and myself. May I touch them?
You may.
My hands were trembling, but I knew I wouldn't be doing her any favors by hesitating. As soon as my fingertips brushed her skin, she shuddered. Does it hurt?
No. There hasn't been pain in some time.
I could feel it trembling where I touched her. It didn't seem like it was going to subside anytime soon. Soon she began whimpering softly. Her lips moved as though she was trying to say something, but the best she managed was a few strange gasps. Tears had begun welling up in her eyes as well.
I'm feeling like I'm in heaven right now. But I also kind of hate myself.
Hate yourself? But why?
Because I can't stop shaking. I'm wait to feel your touch. But I can't control my body. I know you're nothing like that, but I keep seeing flashes. You doing other things in my mind. It kills me that my body won't react the way I feel in my heart.
I was foolish to have ever thought these wounds might have healed. The scars remain in our bodies, so too did they remain in our heart. Unlike the physical wounds, though, the ones inside seem to still be raw and bleeding. She just did such a good job of acting normal that I had begun to think she might have gotten past them. Of course not, you blind fool. You shoved me back there because it brought back those memories?
That's right. I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry.
Why are you apologizing? I should be the one. Do you have any desire to place a curse on him?
What?
You want to curse Antonin? If you so desire, I might be able to make it happen. Cast a curse on him, perhaps even a fatal one. Ignore the fact that he's my father. I don't consider that man family anymore. I want you to be honest with me. If, hypothetically, such a thing were possible, would you want to curse him?
No, I wouldn't want that.
Why not? I have every right to take revenge. For what that man did. He deserves punishment. He inflicted so much pain on you. You're still shaken more than a year later. You can't just let him get away with it out of the goodness of your heart. Hypothetically, you wanted to curse him, I
wouldn't even do it hypothetically. And not out of the goodness of my heart. I'm just a coward.
Coward?
If curses were real, and he were to die by one, I would never, ever be able to forget. If my resentment for him took his life, that would mean he had damaged me so permanently I was never able to get past it. I don't want that. I want to be able to forget. I'm still shaking now, but one day I want to be able to proclaim proudly that it no longer has control over me. But I appreciate the sentiment. Setting aside your choice of method, you asked out of concern, and that's more than enough for me.
I saw a smile spread across your lips. All that inspired in me was powerlessness. Just putting on an act. Was the sentiment really more than enough? Of course not. I wish I was still trembling so much. What was I to do? What was I, unable to leave this house and helpless against the will of the Bollingers to do? I was incapable of assuaging her pain, wasn't I? I couldn't do anything. Could I? Before I throw in a towel, it takes some real time to think. Stop running from the problem. To figure out a real way to give her what she wants. It doesn't involve curses and angry words. It has to be something only I can do. Giselle? I took the hand I'd been tracing her scars, slid it around her waist. Even now, her trembling showed no signs of abating. I would never, the one thing I could do, hurt you again, was to wrap her trembling body in my arms. I want you here with me. All I ask is you for now, to be at my side. You can be scared and you can quiver, but please, don't apologize for it. Please, don't feel bad about it. I promise not to turn my head away from your pain. So I ask of you, try not to keep it buried. I know power and influence. I know all the right things to say. I am a man with nothing to his name. But the one thing I do have is heartfelt desire to do whatever I can for you. So I tie my grip around her waist, to lurch forward, throwing her arms around me. Muffled whimpers resonated against my shoulder where she had buried her head. Eventually, it grew into unfettered sobs. My bedchamber was enveloped in the sound of weeping. She cried like a little child. The usually strong-willed, cheerful, optimistic Giselle wailed from the depth of her soul. This past year, she had constantly been nudging me forward. It was always her leading the way. There had undoubtedly been moments where she had wanted to cry like this, but couldn't. So, starting now, I was going to try and support her too. I was sure I would mess something up, as I had a little experience being caring. It would probably anger her, probably stress her out, and probably make her cry. But I found my resolve and overcome my hesitation. I was sure I could do it. I could create a place where she could find peace. I could surely... Giselle didn't stop crying until the sun began peeking over the horizon. I had, as I said, not looked away, simply holding her in silence. She had a decidedly not childlike frame, but she seemed incredibly small in my arms. We felt each other's warmth in my clothes. Between sniffles, Giselle said softly,
One day I'm certain I'll be able to, without any hesitation, be properly joined with you. And it will be wonderful. Right now I still can't control the shaking. But eventually, I want to be able to put my hands on you too.
the affection infused in each and everywhere was palpable. Sometime later, she drifted off to sleep, exhausted. I prayed from the bottom of my heart that at least tonight she would have pleasant dreams. Morning. No. Afternoon?
Master! Good morning.
Good morning?
Oh, come on, put a little more oomph into it.
Same Giselle as always.
I must say last night was something, Master. I didn't know you had that in you, just thinking about it. Ow! Hey, it hurt. What was that for?
I was struck with an insatiable urge to whack you.
Whatever happened to your heartfelt desire to do whatever you can for me? I don't think hitting me counts.
You're tough enough to get over, little bunk.
You're being so nice yesterday. Where did that go?
So, would you like to explain why you're making dirty jokes first thing in the morning?
Yeah, just... I was trying to lighten the mood to hide my embarrassment.
Fair enough. Alright, but could you not joke about that in the future? I didn't actually do anything to you.
No, you didn't. Sorry. Say, can I ask you something?
Yes?
You hardly ever use my name. It makes us feel so distant. Could you do something about that, maybe?
Babe?
No. That is not you at all. Just go with my name, please. We've graduated from a master-servant relationship to a romantic relationship, but that is a bit much.
Romantic relationship.
Exactly. So, in honor of the new us, let's make this last, alright, Michelle?
Alright. At the time, light had entered our life seemed unreal and fantastical. I prayed that it would indeed last, the hope of an equally bright future. I allowed myself to rejoice in the moment. and in the unconquered shadows that lurked in my peripheral remained unseen. Blackness consumes the once colorful space. Giselle still stands before me, as she did within the door, but I struggle to reconcile the two scenes. They are both real. They're both her. The lively, spunky girl of the past and the lifeless girl of the present are both Giselle. As different as they seem, they are both her.
Why don't we stop there? It was a wonderful story. They overcame their troubles and lived happily ever after. Is that not good enough? It could not be worse than where we are now. All we have to do then is erase the now. Throw everything away and start over from where it was better.
We were to bear them because there weren't your tragedies. That goes for more than just me. Actually, as a matter of fact, those words apply even better to her than me.
The ending is already set in stone. It's already happened. What point is there in watching it again? All that accomplishes is making me relive it all.
The ending has not been written. We're both here now, which means our end still lies ahead of us.
Then, can I ask you to promise not to let go of my hand, no matter what?
No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. Now I understand. That was a request. Even if she didn't perceive it as such. In place of verbal response, I squeezed her hand in mine. I noticed where this tale's heading. Towards tragedy. All the other doors of visit ended in tragedy. And ours was no exception. Perhaps what's waiting at the end of this one seemed more dire than I imagined. The door to her past wings opened once more, behind which lies the end of me, and the beginning of her. A month had passed since the night with the rose. Right on schedule, the monthly delivery arrived, but in it was a letter that would dramatically change our lives. My father, Antonin, had fallen ill and died. I presume it was the witch's doing, but she was silent, refusing to respond to any of my questions. If it wasn't her, then he must have died naturally. It's more than a little tasteless to celebrate someone's death, but good taste and reality do not always agree. I was extremely relieved to hear the news. The man had raped Giselle, had tried to have me killed, and now he was gone from this world. I've been waiting for this moment for years. His passing had another effect as well. My death could be revoked. Many years ago, my brother told me that when he succeeded our father, he would welcome me back to Bollinger Estate. I could be part of the family once more. Which meant this letter signaled the end of my banishment. Not sure how to feel about it?
Yeah, rejoicing doesn't really seem appropriate. But this does mean you can return home now, right?
In theory. My brother said to take control of the estate, though he should be accommodating. I'm gonna write a letter. Have them send us a carriage. It's much too long a distance to walk.
Alright. I'm excited. What should we do when we first get back to the capital? Oh, I know. How about you stop by my place? My mom and sister won't believe their eyes.
My time in the mansion was almost at its end. The future I only vaguely envisioned was now within my reach. I'd always spoken of this moment predicated with eventually. It was some kind of unattainable fantasy. But now that it was practically a reality, I realized I hadn't actually given it much thought.
Hey, are you still awake?
I am.
Not a great night for sleeping, huh? Are you thinking about your family?
All seems so surreal.
Yeah, it does. This house is like a deserted island cut off from the world, which makes everything kind of feel like a fairy tale sometimes. Even what we have.
Time to time, I get the feeling that nothing is real. That the outside world is just a figment of my imagination. That my entire life only ever existed within these walls.
Are you nervous?
Maybe I am. I always thought that when this day arrived, it would be more cathartic. I'm sorry, I'm finally able to take you back to the capital and I can't seem to get past my own negativity.
It's only natural to be nervous. I am too. I haven't spent nearly as long as you living in this mansion. But I know how you feel because I feel the same way. Not knowing what the future holds. It's scary. You know, I was thinking, it would be okay. I would be okay with staying. I mean, I would love to return to the capital and I miss my family dearly. But even if I never get to see them again, in no way would I consider myself unhappy. I honestly think I've got a pretty wonderful life.
You're not comfortable going back to that house. You're just saying you endured for me, Giselle. There are other paths we can take. You can live with your family. Or you can remain here in the mansion.
Not at all, no. I want to. No matter where I go, you'll be there with me, Michelle. It's true, I am nervous, not knowing what the future holds. But not in a scared something bad might happen kind of way. It's more the jittery, excited anxiousness. I'm confident the two of us can overcome anything, no matter what obstacles may come our way. Together we can create an even more wonderful future. Don't worry, Michelle. The future's nothing to be afraid of.
Make it sound like I'm paralyzed with fear.
But you are, aren't you? Hey, now don't give me that look.
Once again, she's the one pushing me forward. I'll make sure you have a good, happy life.
Thank you.
What?
Nothing. I'm feeling kind of sentimental thinking about how we've only got a little time left here. It wasn't perfect, but it was an important part of my life.
Indeed.
Say,
Yes?
well, I think I could handle it right now, probably.
It?
Oh, use your head, you little...
I don't follow.
Ugh, how can you be so dense? I mean, touching and so forth. Take the next step. I'm saying I'm feeling up for that. Right now. It's not proper for a woman to bring up that subject, is it? But I did kind of ask you to wait. And I feel bad leading you on for so long. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're shaking.
I'm just really emotional, that's all.
You don't need to force yourself if you're not ready. I can wait as long as you need. Besides,
Besides,
never mind. It's fine, there's no need to rush things. You don't need to worry.
yeah.
Wrote 2 letters. One to my brother, one to my mother. One so Giselle could return, one so I could be myself. Demonstrate who I was, and to prove that I was not cursed. For failing to do that, not only bring her grief, I become the final crack in the identity I had built up for myself. I had to convince her that I was neither demon nor angel, but a human man had fallen in love with a human woman. However, I was too foolish to realize that the future I envisioned was nothing but a fantasy. I'd been able to grasp that, then maybe I could have taken her somewhere far away, where no one knew who we were, where things might have turned out differently.
It's been really foggy out lately. I'd rather if we left when it was clear. It'd be terrible if the coachman rolled the carriage because he couldn't see where we were going. If there wasn't so much fog, I would probably have been able to see little columns of orange evening sunlight fighting their way through the trees. But the milky white mist seemed to swallow up all the light, leaving nothing for the surrounding area. It was rather dreary weather. I wonder when they'll be here. Although, if they never do show up, that's okay too. I was finally able to return to the capital with Michelle, to see my family again. And that was wonderful. It was like a dream come true. But it wouldn't disappoint me if that didn't end up happening. I didn't care where I ended up, as long as Michelle was there with me. That's all that matters. I should probably close the windows. The coach isn't likely to show up at night, I don't think. I reached my hands out to shut a window, which is when I saw something wavering beyond the heavy mist. Light? And it wasn't just the one. Looking closer revealed several more flickering spots. They moved up and down, slowly but rhythmically. As more and more came into view, my mind began seeing them as people carrying torches. They're coming this way? They be our escorts back to the capital? Though. What? As soon as the thought, there sure are a lot, popped into my head, something whizzed past my cheek. What? Huh? What was. Huh? Why? What? It was an arrow.